Okay, good evening. Welcome to anyone viewing to the April 26, 2023 meeting of the Finance Committee. We are calling it to order at 6:01 p.m. We have a quorum present. One member is absent, but we are good. So, we have a light agenda, as the committee knows. So, annual town meeting is scheduled for May 8th, which is a week from Monday. As we've discussed, because we have a budget shortfall, which we'll talk a little bit more about tonight. Hi, Charlie. There will be a subsequent town meeting in June. June 5th is the date, where we will be addressing the budget. So we're not under the time crunch that we were under, which is good. So a few things. So the first thing I wanted to do is we have meeting minutes that Karen circulated from the April 4th, 2023 meeting. I would entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve meeting minutes from April 4th, 2023.
Okay, we have a motion from Lisa. I will second the motion. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes. Thank you. Okay, we have two reserve transfers from the Finance Committee Reserve Fund in front of us tonight. So the first one, it is a reserve request for $6,000 submitted by Charlie, the town administrator. It is this one's so right now, Chief O'Brien is on leave of absence. If you watch the Selectmen's meeting this past week, they voted to appoint Deputy Chief Jenkins acting chief. And so there's a process that the police department goes through every year. They have evidence that's in storage, and they have an audit of that evidence that's done. Typically, it's been explained to me that they will partner up with other police departments, so they might go to Whitman and do theirs. Whitman would come here and do ours, no cost. When there's a change in leadership within a police department, it's customary to have an outside firm come in and do that evidence audit. So it wasn't budgeted because we didn't know the chief was going to be on leave of absence. So it's a $6,000 reserve transfer request to conduct the evidence audit by an outside firm. And that is that. Are there any questions? Okay. Now, I would entertain a motion to approve the reserve transfer of $6,000 to the police department for an evidence audit.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Karen,
I'll second the motion.
second by Lisa. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So we are good. So we have 5 present. So there's 3 copies here. I'll just circulate those for signature. You can just sign below.
Yeah, I just want to get prepared for the next page.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Thank you. I'll just wait until we sign, and then we'll move on to the next one so everyone can pay attention. Thank you. So the second request we have, again, was submitted by the town administrator. The amount requested is $4,389.05. It is to pay for a settlement of a grievance from the clerical union concerning payment of overtime. So it will be transferred to various wage salary accounts at the town clerk's office, building and planning, and council on aging. That's pretty straightforward,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, they filed a grievance, they were correct, we had not been paying the overtime amounts that we should have. It gets a little tricky because of differing hours in different places, and whether people are getting comp time or not, but it settles that.
Yeah, okay.
We have somebody, we're trying to work out with the department heads how to move forward and avoid this problem from occurring again.
Okay. So I will entertain a motion to approve the transfer request as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Karen,
I'll second the motion.
second by George. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 That passes 5-0. Okay, thank you. So we'll get those signed. Great.
Can I just have this when you're done so I can? Thank you.
Did you need this one?
Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
more straightforward, but
Yep.
thank you.
Can I borrow your pen? I just ran out. Of course.
Thank you all. So next, we'll just have a brief discussion around where we're at town budget-wise. So we're pretty much where we were when we last met. There's still a shortage of $300,000 and some change. We know that the biggest issue that we're facing is the assessment of the Plymouth County retirement catch-up contributions. As we've talked before, that money has eaten up all new growth. So we have state aid, and schools get Chapter 70 and reimbursement for certain things that they do. But outside of our increases in state aid and our Prop 2.5 increase, that new growth was eaten up by that. So it's unfortunate. We know it's something that we're going to be dealing with for the next, is it 5 years or 6 years, Charlie?
29, I believe,
Right.
so, yeah.
So 6 years roughly, 5-6 years. We are working on a go-forward plan with some ideas on how do we offset this going forward, but this year, we're caught, between a rock and a hard place that we have to figure out what to do. So, many of the town departments have come forward and offered concessions or adjustments to their budget, things that they thought they wanted but maybe didn't need this year. The fire department's been great in seeing what they could add to pay from ambulance fund, because that's what the fund's for. So they've been great with that. But over the course of the next few weeks, Melanie will be back in the office, which will be really helpful. And when she's back, I anticipate the meetings then will pick up a little bit mid-May through Memorial Day. Like to get everything kind of wrapped up, obviously, before then, so that we have Charlie, when would you say that you need the final? If we're,
Well, I mean, it's, some of the, trying to think here. We got Memorial Day, the Monday before. I mean, I think, and the Senate budget should be out by then. So if we can get, we have to head toward the conclusion, but Tuesday, or Wednesday of that week, you have one last meeting and we get a final version and,
of Memorial Day week?
yeah.
Okay. So that gives us a good 4 weeks post-town meeting to get everything ironed out. And we may have to come up with budget A, budget B, and vote on what we think makes sense for the town, as our recommendation, to the selectmen, who will ultimately have the final say on it. But are there any questions anyone has on where we're at, what's been done to date, where we have to get to?
Do we have copies of the amended budgets as they stand right now?
I believe so. If not, Melanie had sent everything out before I'll forward to you.
Because I do have this, but this was from before the last meeting.
Okay, I'll send you what we have.
Okay.
I did have a question about the contracts with the unions and things that aren't settled yet. How does that factor in if we're still 300K off and we know that there's more to come?
If we're going to be doing anything with the contracts, it'll be out of free cash. It won't be out of the same pool of money that we're going to be using to try and balance the budget at this point.
So what had happened, just a little history, so in the past, the town typically had a pretty substantial amount of free cash at the end of every fiscal year. Mm-hmm. And that free cash was used to finance capital projects, but a lot of times it was also then used, departments were then frustrated because they said, well, it's free cash, and if it happens one time, that makes sense, right? That there was something off in the budget and it went to free cash. When you have the same amount or greater that happens over an extended period of time, it means you're not budgeting correctly, and we're, you can argue that, yes, you're saving, for a rainy day, but if you don't let anyone take out of the rainy day fund, then, what good is it? So we committed last year that we were gonna use a percentage of, I can't remember what the number was, but we used free cash to balance the budget last year, to get everyone to where they were, saying, let's start to right the ship and correct how we're budgeting from an expense and revenue projection standpoint. But we said, we know that's not sustainable, right? You don't want to budget that way. So we said, in this year, we were reducing it by 25%. And then the next year, we're reducing it by another 33%, another 33%, to get us to where it was level. So we'll always have free cash. And so to Charlie's point, it'll be used as a one-time this year's and then incorporated into the operating budget going forward.
Okay. Thank you.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
So what happens if we don't settle the $300,000?
Well, you will,
Saturday.
a balanced budget needs to come to town
Yeah,
meeting.
we
Okay.
have to.
So one way or the other, you'll bring a balanced budget to town meeting.
Okay,
It may be a budget that will make one or more departments unhappy.
okay, gotcha. Okay,
Yes.
makes sense.
So that's where we're at. So there will be, I think, Melanie, like I said, is back in the office next week. We'll let her get her feet under her for a day or two before we bombard her with trying to get back in the saddle with all this. And we're waiting to hear. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of talk at the state level on grants and possibly changes in the financing structure that's going to schools. So if they get more money from the state, that solves part of our problem. And that's why I said we might need an A, B, and C, right? That I don't want to wait until the week of May 22nd to put budget numbers together.
Right.
So we might need, if the schools get something from the state, we do this. If they don't, we do this.
Yeah, contingency. budgets.
Contingency budgets, right. So. That's fun. Any other questions on where we stand so far this year? Okay.
Just, will you publish or will we discuss a schedule of meetings
Yeah.
up until to the June?
Yeah, so I want to, I'll look at the calendars, because ARP is meeting, and then we try not to meet when the selectmen meet, so Charlie doesn't have to be in two places at once. So I'll look at that, and I will get meetings on the calendars for the next.
Right now, the only official meeting, I'm sure the board will meet the 8th before town meeting. They may do a special meeting next week, I don't know. Then their next regular meeting after that would be the 22nd, the Monday before Memorial Day. So those are
Okay.
the only ones that right now are on the books.
Okay. So I would anticipate us having, if we can plan to have a meeting Monday the 15th. We'll at least get that one planned for now. And then if we need to throw something on for the following week, we will.
Okay.
Things that are coming up, so town meeting is coming up on May 8th. There's no financial articles on the agenda, or in the warrant, so we won't
Oh,
be,
there won't be the operating budget isn't on the warrant.
Right.
We have a line in there that basically says, you all, the selectmen, are recommending that it be carried over to June 5th. Same thing with the capital.
with the capital, right?
There are a number of other articles that use free cash, and we're going to also move those to June 5th. There are a few, I think it may be the only ones where the fire chief had asked for money out of the ambulance fund, where the money from the ambulance receipts goes to transfer, for instance, for turnout gear, as an
Yes.
example. Those we're gonna do because they have no effect on anybody else's budget. No one else is gonna be trying to grab the ambulance money. So, so we'll be able to get those done.
But I don't think they're, in reviewing this, typically finance would go through the articles and make a recommendation. I don't think that there are any that need a recommendation of finance committee.
Well, that's just the ones I just mentioned.
No, I mean, I think it's within the chief's purview to request money from the ambulance fund for his operating expenses.
I think they're more like capital stuff, such as turnout gear and such, but yeah.
Right, which is moved to June. Yeah, okay. But, I encourage whoever can attend to attend. If everything at my job goes well, I'll be there, but I'm banking that I will be
Good
at
luck.
work. So, that's Monday, May 8th. Town election is coming up.
On June 13th, that
June 13th,
Saturday.
okay.
It is a uncontested ballot, doesn't mean people shouldn't vote, just that there are no contested races at this point unless somebody decides to run a write-in campaign, sticker campaign in the next couple of weeks.
I'm sorry, is that a Saturday?
Yes.
That is a Saturday.
11 to 7 over at the school.
Thank you.
And then we'll have the hopefully adjourned town meeting to June 5th.
Okay.
And that will be at 7 o'clock, right, Charlie, on the 5th? Yep, okay. So we will all, or should all be there, if at all possible.
It will be. Don't have another trip to Texas for a while.
Okay, I think that was all I had. Any other topics or questions or comments?
Nope.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make the motion.
Figured you would.
Second.
And a motion by Lisa, second by Karen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.